It's not like solving polynomials. What we are going to do is the steps right here. The first step is to always factor. The next step, since you're dealing with fractions, remember you might have restrictions. What would make it 0 in the denominator? And then we're going to determine what the least common denominator is, and we're going to multiply by the least common denominator, and that's going to change it from a fraction to a regular equation. So number 3 is very important. Number 4, we're going to solve. And then guys, since we have restrictions, sometimes we'll get answers that are restrictions, and those are extraneous solutions. So we're going to have to check our work here. Now remember, a good answer goes in brackets, or braces, I'm sorry, those are braces. A bad or extraneous answer goes in parentheses, and I'll show you an example of that. So here's number 1. Number 1 has a denominator of x plus 3. It's already factored, so step 1 is already done for us. Step 2, we're just going to go ahead and state the restrictions. So I know x cannot be a negative 3. If it's a negative 3, I would have a 0 in the denominator, which is no good. All right, so the LCD, the least common denominator, is the denominator. The only denominator we have is x plus 3. So when you're solving an equation, remember the equal sign gives you power to change the way this equation looks. So we're going to multiply both sides by x plus 3. We're going to multiply both sides by the least common denominator. So when I take this x plus 3 and multiply it to that first piece inside my brackets over here, the x plus 3 cancels out the x plus 3 on the bottom. Those two cancel out completely, so that just leaves a 20. However, when we take this x plus 3 and multiply it by this negative 4, there's nothing in the denominator to wipe that out, so we're going to multiply. So this is going to be negative 4 times x plus 3. I'm going to recopy the equal sign. And then 0 times anything is just 0. So this side is going to stay 0. Let me go ahead and distribute the negative 4. So it's going to be 20 minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. So once you get to this part, guys, it's either going to be a junior high equation, which is what this is, or a high school equation. This is a junior high equation. We want all of our x's on one side, all of our numbers on the other side. 20 minus 12 is 8. I'm going to move the 4x over here. It becomes positive, and we know x equals 2. X equals 2. It's not a restriction, so it's a good answer. So it's going to go in braces like this. And that's the answer for number 1. Do you have any? Not factored yet, so let's go ahead and factor that trinomial. So x squared minus 6x plus 8. We're going to factor that. What are those factors? How convenient, because look, it's over there on the other side. For this section, it will be like that. Let me recopy the numerator, and let me bring down the rest of my work here. So we're going to have 2 restrictions on this problem. We know that x cannot equal a positive 2 or a positive 4. And our least common denominator is all of those denominators that you see, all of the factors here. So it's x minus 2 and x minus 4. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by x minus 2 and x minus 4. Okay, so guys, these factors cancel out everything in the denominator over there on the left side. So that's just going to equal 4. And then on the other side, guys, look, when I distribute both of these to this first fraction, only the x minus 2 cancels out. So we have to take the 3x and multiply it by the x minus 4. I'm not going to multiply it yet. I'm just going to stick them together like that. I'll do it in a minute because I want to look at the other fraction. For the other fraction, the x minus 4's cancel out. So remember the 2 is positive, recopy the plus sign. And then that 2 is going to be multiplied by just x minus 2. All right, let's do our order of operations on this. Go ahead and distribute that 3x. Go ahead and distribute that 2. And then, if you guys notice for this problem, this is a high school level problem. I know it's a high school level problem because I have an x raised to an exponent. Every time you have an x raised to an exponent, it has to be set equal to 0. So all quadratic equations, all quads must be equal to 0. Please write that down. And then let's do exactly that. So I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides, and I'm going to combine like terms. So we're going to have 0 equals 3x squared minus 10x minus 8. And guys, all of our answers should be solved by factoring for this unit. So in 2.5, everything should be factorable. So let me go ahead and draw my setup here. I need numbers that multiply to a negative 24 but combine to make a negative 10. What are those numbers? 6 and 4 makes 24, but it would make a positive 24. We need a negative 24 and a negative 10. Yeah, 12 and 2 are the ones we're going to have to use. Make the 12 negative and the 2 positive. There we go. Don't forget to divide by the a value. So our factored form is going to be x minus 4 and then 3x plus 2. And guys, x is going to equal, remember it's just the opposite signs. Hold on, this is getting a little crowded right there. Let me kind of block that off. All right. So x is going to equal a positive 4 and then a negative 2/3. And then we have a bad answer. Do you see it? Well, look at the restrictions. It's all about the restrictions. So remember, if you get an answer that's a restriction, that's extraneous because it would make the denominator 0. So let's put 4 in the bad group, which is parentheses. And then let's put negative 2/3 in the good group, which are braces. And that's the answer for 1D. We're supposed to factor it. It's already factored. Restrictions. We only have 2 restrictions. What can x not equal?
0.
Very good. 0 and negative 1. All right. The LCD. This is what has been a little tricky. The least common denominator are all the denominators put together. So it's going to be x plus 1 times x times 20, because y'all 20 is below the fraction bar too. Right, Jeffrey? All right, so we're going to multiply this by everything. So let's rationalize what happens. When I take this first fraction here, what is in the denominator? X plus 1. What's going to get canceled out? X plus 1. So this numerator is going to be multiplied by what? X and 20. Good. And y'all, I'm just slowing down, taking my time on this to show you guys everything. Any questions on what that is?
Can you just combine the 20 x?
Yeah. Yeah. Your work will probably have less steps than mine, but I'm just showing everything. I'm going to write the minus sign. I'm going to recopy the x minus 1. Let's analyze the next fraction. What's going to cancel out with the next fraction? X, that's right. So this x minus 1 is getting multiplied by these 2 pieces right here. So the x minus 1 is going to multiply by the x plus 1 and also the 20. Let me recopy the equal sign. And then what is this 1 going to get multiplied by? What is it? X and x plus 1. The 20s cancel out. All right, let me go through and do all of my multiplication. The product of this is one term right here, looks like this, minus this is all one product, guys. Y'all, if I cover up the 20, what's x minus 1 times x plus 1? X squared minus 1. So this is going to be x squared minus 1 times the 20. I'll distribute that 20 in a minute. On the other side, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the x. So this is x squared plus x. Let me distribute the 20. Recopying the first term. Minus 20x squared minus 20 equals x squared plus x. Now I'm ready to distribute the negative. Remember, when you distribute the negative, you distribute it to every piece of that product. We have two pieces here. So this is going to be 20x squared minus 20x squared plus 20 equals x squared plus x. We're going to set this equal to 0. Guys, the good news is this cancels out right here. So 0 is going to equal x squared plus x. I move the 20 over so it's negative now. Y'all, that's factorable. That's going to be x plus 5, x minus 4. So x is going to equal a negative 5 and a positive 4. And those are going in braces. Both of those are good answers. So the answer is negative 5, comma 4 in the correct symbols. And that's how you do problem 38.